dated and like it looked real elaborate and
Right.
like the cursive, and I don't know if that really directly touches in with that age group. I mean, that wouldn't be what I'd expect.
You have a solution? Potentially a new way to
Something a little more modern, possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know really what it would be, but that was just my gut.
What about healthy visions? I mean, if you guys noticed, the one thing that they are was the one thing that nobody thought that they were in class. So, what do you think that they should go from there?
I don't know about using the word vision, because as soon as I think of eyesight, I don't know, that's just me, but maybe build something or into the name with a relationship possibly, or healthy relationships instead of healthy vision or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You guys think it's still socially relevant to preach, you know, the abstinence? I hate using the word, but yes, no, maybe so.
What was that question?
So what do you think?
Well, I
Do you think it's still socially relevant?
I think it's worth a shot, but I mean, with all the sex in their culture and everything, I mean, I don't know how effective it'll be, but I mean, it's worth a chance, and someone will take away the message.
Just because I think a better word than visions would be futures, because visions kind of implies they're thinking about the future, but like Mike said, it just brings the wrong idea to mind.
Sure. All right, so let's say you're this nonprofit and you're trying to make money, and you have DVDs or such that of Chad here speaking. Do you think that's a market? I mean, if you guys were to think for your parents or think for yourselves, would you go buy a Chad Easton DVD of sex ed? Do you think high school kids would buy DVDs? Would they potentially market it to their parents? Because basically the role that we're given here is it's the parents that are going to pay to keep nonprofits like this around. So how can kids then make this connection with their parents?
I would just say no to the DVDs, just because aren't they supposed to learn that in school? I feel like that's part of going to high school or whatever, freshman, sophomore year in high school, you learn that. You have a class, or at least I did, I had a class devoted to health and sex ed or whatever.
Right.
So.
Yeah, definitely. Any other opinions?
I was just gonna talk about the design of the logo.
Yeah, sure thing.
I felt like the swoops of it just made it reminded me of a chef's hat.
Okay.
Every time I see a food company,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I always think of that script and I just think there's no way I would ever.
What's that one? Pampered Chef?
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, this is all great feedback, and this is the main reason that we came into the class tonight. So just real quick for about another minute, any feedback that you want to give?
Sure.
Yeah.
I just was gonna say, have they done any social media stuff? Have they
They do. There's a Facebook page and all these. Basically, what happens is Chad Easton, he makes six figures easy. He left from Healthy Visions to go. He's a traveling spokesperson. He's an advocate. He just goes around. He's written 2 books and such. So basically, he's a little mini celebrity, and that's what these people become. Is they're really picky about who they have be their volunteer speakers. They have a group of maybe 5 people, and each of them have their own Facebook page. So yes, they are tapped into social mediums and such. So there is that ongoing connection that happens, but it's to get that ongoing connection, they have to get into your school. So how do they get into your school with that kind of marketing?
can they give some kind of, didn't they do I know they have it on the back of books, a website where you can go and learn more about the information.
Yeah.
If they did something like that, I just feel like kids nowadays don't watch, they're not going to watch a DVD that their parents gives them, and then they're not going to watch this, and obviously in front of other people. I think it's an embarrassing topic for kids that age. So the internet is their outlet. They always go there. I mean, I don't know. I have little cousins, so.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. If you saw this in class, would you go home and tell your parents about it? Because their thing right now is they don't tell the parents that they're giving this lecture. Would you go home and tell them if you sat through it?
I feel like that conversation is something your parents bring upon you. You don't bring upon your parents. No kid's gonna go to their parents and start talking about sex.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Do you think that maybe Healthy Vision should tell the parents before they do the class, or leave that up to the school?
No, I mean, if the kid wants to keep it to himself, let him keep it to himself. I mean, I feel like it loses its effectiveness if the parents get involved. It might ruin obviously that was a little more kids were enjoying, they were laughing at it, but as soon as it goes to their parents, then maybe the message will just kind of be tainted by having to talk about it with the parents, you know?
You guys can be as blunt as you want with this feedback, seriously.
I think it also provides an outlet aside from your parents, because people can feel uncomfortable, like you said, with your parents. So by having this program such as like DARE, where you can feel free to ask questions to, you know, a third party that you may not ever see again, with that might get the message through a lot better. As far as the logo, I mean, what came to my mind was like the male-female symbol, maybe incorporating that in there, because it is a relationship. And maybe healthy isn't necessarily a good word from a high schooler perspective, because I don't think that they've really, right. So I don't think it's effective. And I think maybe they need to look into the DARE program and see how they can implement into schools the same way that DARE did. I mean, obviously that's from like the police and stuff like that, but it's still kind of the same point, you know, to like prevention.
Didn't we also learn
information and-
that actually sometimes police officers do this sex ed stuff?
Yeah, and honestly, would you rather hear about sexual education from a guy like Chad or from like Deputy Dave? You know, you know, so.
I guess when it boils down to it, it's like, what's a